join us tonight. Just a quick note, which I'm sure you just got the notification of. We are recording this meeting just so that we can send it out tomorrow. And so if you feel like you missed any information today, rest assured that you can easily access it later. But we just wanted to put that out there just so everyone's informed. So I guess we're going to go ahead and get started now. My name is Mira, and
I'm Abena.
And we're just going to get started by having some faculty members introduce themselves who are on the call. So we have Dr. Risa Hoffman, who is the Global Health Program Director, as well as two of our faculty advisors for the case competition, Dr. Tracy Wells and Dr. Cecily Gallup. So I'm going to hand it over to them so they can introduce themselves.
All right, I'll get started. I don't know if you can see me because I can only see the both of you, but really excited. Just want to first of all welcome everyone as I look at the names and see undergrads and people from Fielding Public Health and the medical school and informatics. I mean, it's really exciting to see the diverse representation. And I will say I'm an infectious diseases clinician, and I've been doing research in global health for 15 years. And I work with my team that I've enjoyed working with consists of public health experts, social scientists, clinicians, people that focus on biostatistics, pharmacy, and it's just such a powerful way of working to bring people together with different experiences and disciplines. And I think this case competition is so important because this is the reality of global health. And the skills that you will get from doing this, the relationships you will make, you never know, may carry you far into your career. So want to give a huge shout out to Mira and Abena for taking on this very challenging leadership role during their very, very busy first year of medical school. It's incredible and really grateful to you both. And I will turn it over to Cecily Gallup to do her introduction.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Risa. So I'm very, very also excited to see all of these different people from different disciplines, different schools. It's so exciting. I'm a physician as well. I'm trained in internal medicine and pediatrics, and I've been working with the global health program for the last couple of years, and was involved as an advisor last year in last year's case competition. And it was one of the more fun things that I did last year. So I'm super excited to work with you all, and I hope tonight goes well and that we make some teams. I'll pass it on to Dr. Wells now.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for being here for this. I hope you get great information and you're able to connect with others that have similar interest and similar passion for health equity. Echoing the thanks to Abena and Mira for taking on the leadership role for this, and also Vegeta, who I think most of you have connected with at this point. And we have our leaders for this particular event from last year on, Alex and Tucker. So that's great too. So you guys are in good hands. It's going to be a fun evening tonight. I'm Tracy Wells, Director of Education with the Global Health Program. Work mainly with the medical students, but we did have a really fun time last year seeing the great work that everybody came up with in a short time and building out these cases and getting some simulated real life experience and coming up with some solutions to complex global health problems. So we're very excited to see people engaging on this topic. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for the warm introduction. We are the co-directors for this year for the case competition, and we are super excited to be working with such awesome faculty members. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So this is just a kind of quick agenda for what we wanted to talk about today. So we just finished our introductions. We're going to talk a little bit about the case competition and what that is, as well as having some time for Q&A, and then ending with doing breakout rooms, which will kind of give you a chance to connect more with other people on this call and hopefully start forming your teams, because the main point of this mixer is to kind of learn about the case competition and then also really try to form your teams or start to form teams and meet potential teammates if possible. So yeah, so let's go ahead and get started. Vijeta, if you could, yes, thank you. So just before we kind of move forward, we just wanted to thank all of the different schools at UCLA who have participated in the Global Health case competition in the past. It's kind of a multidisciplinary approach to global health that we take with this competition. And so as you can see, there are a lot of different schools that have contributed to the success of this competition. And so we just wanted to give a special shout out to those schools. Okay, so what is the Global Health Case Competition mission? So our mission is to facilitate student networking, mentorship, and real-world problem-solving opportunities through collaboration in multidisciplinary teams that will develop innovative solutions to complex global health issues. And so this is really about bringing people from all different fields to work together, people who you probably in undergrad or in graduate school wouldn't get the opportunity to work this closely with. And so it's a really cool opportunity to be able to learn about different fields and different disciplines and how they may tie into something you're studying or learning about. So going on to the next slide. And so again, it's a really good way to meet students from the entire UCLA campus. It's a good way to connect undergraduate and graduate students, as well as working with different faculty members, because each team will be assigned a case advisor. And it also gives you the chance to learn about really important and relevant global health issues that you may not have heard about. And one of the really cool parts about this competition is that the winning team from our UCLA competition has the opportunity to compete in the Emory Morningside Global Health Case Competition, which is this huge competition that has schools from all around the world. So that is a really, really awesome opportunity to kind of showcase your global health thinking and innovation skills on a more international scale. And there is a cash prize of $6,000, which is also very cool. And just as a quick thing, there is a video linked to that page, which talks a little bit about the University of Minnesota Global Health Case Competition. And we're not going to play the video today, but these slides will be sent out later. And if you're interested in learning more about the format of a competition, if that wasn't covered enough today, of course, you can always reach out to us with questions, but there's also a video there for your reference if you need it. Okay. So I'm not going to really read these off, but these are some testimonials that we've received in the past from participants of the competition. It's a really awesome way, again, to build your cross-disciplinary interpersonal professional skills and just learn how to work on a team and do problem solving. And so one thing I wanted to do, I think we have actually a team member from the winning team last year, Jessica, who maybe
2 team members.
Oh, 2 team members, awesome.
Yeah.
On this call from the winning team last year, if they would be able to share a little bit about their experiences, that would be really great.
I can start. Hi, everyone. My name is Fiona. I was part of the UCLA Anderson School of Management, and I joined team. So there are 4 of us, and Jessica was here today as well. We had a great time. It was such a good learning experience for us, and I think we learned a ton from the case itself, and then most importantly, how to do problem solving together as a team. So that was super, super fun. And lastly, be able to talk and work with the professors and the team members who guided us through the way throughout this entire process. I feel like that's such a great learning opportunity as well. So had lots of fun, and if anyone has more questions or anything, feel free to reach out. Happy to answer. Jessica?
Can you guys hear me all right? Or no?
It's breaking up a little bit.
I don't know why. Okay. Well, I can try to share a little, maybe. So, can you guys hear me? No.
It's breaking it's breaking up a little bit. I'm not sure. Maybe
Okay, maybe mute and unmute yourself and you can see if that helps. Okay.
Jessica, your Bluetooth battery may be dying.
No, I was gonna try to move. Can you guys hear me now? No.
yeah, I think we're having a little bit of trouble hearing you.
Yeah,
Um,
no worries.
no worries.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's the nature of being virtual.
Yeah.
Okay, well, hopefully, maybe Jessica, if you would feel comfortable typing a little blurb into the chat, that would be great.
Yeah.
And if maybe we can get your audio working before the call ends, you can definitely feel free to jump in and share your wisdom.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So I guess let's move on.
Yes. So I'd like to thank Fiona for joining and Jessica for joining the call and sharing their wonderful experiences. There's a lot of fun to be had for this year's participants as well. So please look forward to that. So I'm going to be going more over the nuts and bolts of this. It's going to be a lot of information. And so if at any point you have questions, you can type it in the chat. I will have a Q&A session afterwards. So you guys can get all your questions addressed. So looking at what exactly the case competition would involve, we will of course have a case which will be formatted in a 10 to 20 page document that will present a real world global health challenge or issue. And this would be on a wide range of topics. And so some past examples I have on my screen have been on addressing electronic nicotine delivery, combating sex trafficking, and formulating sanitation solutions. And this issue will of course be tackled by you all in multidisciplinary teams. So you'll get to analyze the case and create a solution to the challenge. And the solution is expected to be we hope that you tackle these issues from multiple directions. And so some of the solution areas to consider would be in engineering and technical innovations and management, law and policy reform, global and national finance and economics, and also looking at public health frameworks. Next slide. Okay, so this is a sample case from the UCLA Global Health competition from last year. It was titled "A Storm's Coming," and it was on implementing innovative hurricane disaster preparedness strategies in a changing global climate. So I'm going to read the first line of the case summary on the right side of the screen. Set in the year 2030, the case prompted teams to serve as representatives from one of 5 countries: Dominican Republic, Japan, Madagascar, Mexico, and the Philippines. And as you can see, these are very different countries. They have very different socioeconomic backgrounds. And so this is something to expect with this year's competition as well, having countries from having just very different economic and sociocultural backgrounds. And some additional information that was included in the case document from last year was background on the US FEMA, and I think that's the Federal Emergency Agency. I forget what the M stands for, response to hurricanes, as well as background information on historical hurricanes in each of the 5 countries, budget allocated for each country, background information on how climate change affects severe weather, background on how hurricanes impact human health. I'm not going to read it, but the point is that there's going to be a lot of background information included in these case documents, and that would hopefully help you guys, you all plan your presentations. There will also be a case twist, and I will talk more about that in a couple of slides. Next slide, please. Okay. So the case itself will be released on January 22nd, 2022 at 9 a.m. And each team will have 2 weeks after the case is released to prepare. And during this time, the teams will also be able to meet with we'll be able to set up 2 faculty advising sessions. And so they'll have the chance to meet with 2 faculty members who are experts from different fields. And this will basically be coaching sessions to get some feedback on their presentations. And the winning team, Mira mentioned this, from the UCLA competition will represent UCLA in the Emory Morningside Global Health competition from March 11th to the 19th of 2022. And all the costs associated with this competition will be covered by UCLA. And so it's a really nice package if you do win the UCLA competition. And so the teams that make it through the 2-week planning stage will submit a 10-minute video with a 1-page executive summary by Friday, February 4th at 12 p.m. And these videos will be reviewed by judges, and the judges will submit their scores. The teams with the highest first round scores will be announced the following day. So Saturday morning, February 5th. And these are the teams, these will be the finalist teams. And so on that morning, I think about 10 a.m., a case twist will be presented to these teams. And what the case twist is just like a minor wrench in your plans. And so if we're still thinking, using our theme of like a hurricane, there may be a minor contained outbreak of something that you have to think about and sort of incorporate into your presentation. And you'll have an hour and a half to do that before you present live virtually to the final round judges. So that's basically what the last thing says. And then there'll be a 5-minute Q&A with the judges following that final presentation by the finalist teams. Next slide, please. Okay, so registration for the case competition will open tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. And individuals or teams will have up until December 16th, 2021 at 5 p.m. to register. The teams must comprise of 4 to 6 members and have at least 3 UCLA schools represented. So the med school, law school, dental school, and you have the undergraduate schools. And again, all current undergraduate and or graduate students are eligible. The one thing to keep in mind for everyone is that complete or partial teams will be prioritized as we go through like the applicants over folks who apply as individuals and have to be placed in teams. And so that just goes to emphasize the importance of tonight's or this evening's mixer. So just keep an eye out for who you want to work with, and at least begin the process of like reaching out to people and again, beginning the process of team formation. And Mira might have mentioned this, we will send a list of the contact information of the people who have RSVP'd or applied to be part of this. And so you'll have a chance afterwards to also reach out to people, but they may or may not be available by that point. So this is supposed to be a very chill, informal discussion type event. Just talk a little bit about yourselves and everything. But again, just keep an eye out for who you want to work with. The other thing that I want to mention for our undergrads is that we love to have you guys, and we really are very happy that you're also enthusiastic about participating in this. But in the instance that we have undergraduates that have to be placed in teams, so they're not part of teams yet, priority will be given to the upperclassmen, so juniors and seniors who have had more college experience, have taken more advanced coursework, and presumably will be able to contribute a lot to their respective teams. Okay, so finally, last point. All members of each team must be available and present on February 22nd for the UCLA competition, of course. And if you do win the UCLA competition, hopefully also be available from March 11th to 19th, 2022 for the Emory competition. Next slide, please. Okay. Are there any questions?
Yeah, I have a question.
Mhm.
You said that there's a case twist, and I wasn't sure if that case twist was, so you said that that's gonna be announced after who's the winner, after the winner is announced, and then we have time to work on it before for the Emory competition one. If you can maybe like re-explain that. That would be great.
So the case twist will be announced after the finalists are announced. So the case you're doing with Emory is totally different from the case you're doing at this case competition. I can see how that might have been confusing.
Yeah.
So the case you're doing for this competition is completely distinct from the case at the Emory competition. So after everybody submits the initial product, there's going to be a review, and then the finalist teams will compete with each other on the 5th. And so that is when the case twist will be announced.
Yeah.
And so does that answer your question? So you will have an hour and a half to work through the case twist, and then as a finalist team, present your final product to the judges on that day. Does that?
Oh, I see. So that happens the day of that.
Yeah.
Like competition, and it's completely different topic than you've already.
It's like a wrench. It's like an obstacle.
For example, like if you were given like $10,000 to come up with a project for something, it would be like, oh, funding was cut and now you have $7,000. So you'd have to work
like
around that.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Very helpful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. Are there any other questions?
There's a raised hand.
So the Emory Global Competition takes place during finals week. So I was wondering how that would work.
Oh, I think it might. Okay, go on.
No.
Answer.
So that I'm really glad that you looked that up, but because I don't think Abena or I
will have any
knew that. But I believe that their competition this year is virtual. And so I'm hopeful that that might address a barrier, but of course I totally understand that if it's during, so do you mind me asking, are you an undergrad or a graduate student? Because I think the medical school is on a different academic schedule.
Graduate student, and we're on the quarter schedule.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I think Jessica actually just wrote something in the chat. So they were saying you have to manage your time with finals. Yeah, that sounds like it would be pretty challenging.
Sounds very difficult.
Yeah.
It's if we had a say in it, we would try to like coordinate it with the UCLA schedule, but I guess this is the Emory competition, and yeah, it is what it is. I'm really sorry.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, if it makes you feel any better, I think, Ben, I kind of went over the structure of the competition before. It's not like one whole week where like 9 to 5 you're working on, or 2 whole weeks where you're just working on this case. Like it's like something you have to probably spread out and work on throughout the day. But unless it's like the day of the competition, they give you time to like work on the case and give you a lot of time to work with your team before the actual competition day. But I can see how that would be really, really difficult. So thank you for actually bringing that up.
Yeah, thank you for answering.
Yeah. Are there any other questions? You can also like write it in the chat if you are uncomfortable
Yeah, or
unmuting yourself.
DM one of us directly.
Yeah,
that's more comfortable as well.
I had a question regarding the presentation. So I know you said it was a 10-minute video. I was just curious, in that video, are we expected to have it accompanied by like a PowerPoint presentation, or is like the form of media up to the group?
Very
Yeah.
much up to the group. However you sell your presentation the best. Like it's that's where the creativity comes in. So it's very much up to you guys. I
don't know if Fiona or Jessica, you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah. So what we did last year was a presentation, so PowerPoint presentation, and then we did, the 4 of us walk through the presentation with a video of it, a Zoom video. And I think it's just a matter of balancing. So you do have to balance being creative, but at the same time, you only have 10 minutes. Is that right? 10 minutes. And it's a huge problem that you're trying to solve, and there may be multiple problems. So what we did it in a simple way. We just walked through our presentation and walked through our problem solving, the logic, and the timeline, and how we would use the money to solve the problems. And we think that is the best way to communicate. But I can see a case where if you're being very creative, you can also think of something else, as long as you can communicate very concisely, use your time, budget your time very wisely.
Thank you so much, Fiona.
Of course. So we have a question in the chat. Do we have access to videos from last year's competition? And I do not believe we do have that access. And so, yeah, just think freely and broadly about how you would like to put it. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is up to the team how they want to present the information. You will, a little bit before the competition starts, you will be given like a student guide, which will have a lot of information about more specifics pertaining to the competition. And the case itself is like a pretty long document, and it has very clear guidelines on what is expected and what the judges are expecting. But as long as you stick to those guidelines, really like the goal of the competition is to foster out of the box and innovative and creative thinking and problem solving. So you should really feel, and I know that can be a frustrating demand, but it really is a good opportunity to work with different people and present your solution in a really awesome and creative way, which I'm sure everyone here is more than capable of doing. So yeah. Are there any other questions we can answer?
All right, if there are no other questions, then again, feel free to email either of us or DM us on this Zoom call if you have any questions that pop up later. We will now be placed into breakout rooms randomly by our very wonderful Vegeta. And so in these breakout rooms, you have a facilitator and you get to chat with each other and just find out a little bit about everyone in the room.